Welcome back to another episode of John the PM, where we believe that managing projects is not just a job, but a way of life. What I want to talk about for a few minutes here is about the role of mentors within your organization. Now, there's all kinds of mentors that we've talked about in previous sessions, and we'll talk about in future sessions, because mentors, that is really what kind of helps you to guide you. That is really almost the secret to success. Honestly, I don't know how you would survive if you didn't have a person that lets you know the lay of the land. I've seen several times where a project manager that was extremely skilled, they really knew the technical aspects of the job, but they did not understand the interpersonal relationships, either by omission or by commission. One of the key things that they did not have was actually a mentor inside of the organization to help guide them. As using myself as a personal example, I had one of my mentors. Long story short, was that at that point in my career, I was an analyst responsible for developing business cases for mergers, acquisitions, whether we shut down business lines or bring them back up, whatever the case may be. That kind of fell into my lap. So I was the analyst. And I had a particular project that I had to work through, and I had my conclusions, and I had to present them to the corporate committee. And when I was getting ready to establish it for the corporate committee, I quickly realized that a key individual on the corporate committee was diametrically opposed to my solution, to my thought process. So I went to Jerry. I said, "Hey, Jerry, what should I do in this particular case?" And Jerry kind of looked at me kind of quizzically and said, "What do you mean?" And so I kind of repeated myself, actually. Said, I did my job. This is where all the facts are. This is where we're at, da, 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 da. However, I know that this other individual, who has a lot of power within your organization and can, definitely hurt my career, has a difference of opinion. Wow. He looked at me a little bit closer and he said, "I can't believe you were concerned about it, but, here's a clue or two." And he said, "Just make sure that he knows that you heard him." And I looked at Jerry and I said, "Are you sure? That's all I have to do." He said, "Oh, yeah, just do that with him. He'll be perfectly fine." And I took a deep breath and I left the office. I did not sleep well that night. Got up the next morning. I presented my findings, where the conclusions were. We did have a difference of opinion. I already knew that we were going to. But what was key was that at every juncture, I made 100% sure that this gentleman knew that I had heard him, that I had taken into account what he said, and that he had his voice on that side. And believe it or not, at the end of the day, that project would not have been successful if it was not for that individual. Why? Because even though he was diametrically opposed to in the meeting, when he left, he was 120% for it, and he drove the rest of it and basically made an easy day for me. I throw that out just as an example that, the power and the role of mentors within an organization cannot be overestimated. Go and seek them, and also be mindful of this. Sometimes it does not have to be a high-ranking individual. It can actually be the boss's admin. It could actually be somebody who's been in an organization for a minute or two in a different area and just knows the lay of the land. So keep your eyes open, keep your ears open. Don't just evaluate people by their rank positions and things of that nature. But really look deep inside and see where they're coming from, because they may actually have a really good insight on the particular behaviors of the individuals that you may have to deal with. So let's wrap this all up. When it's all said and done, it's really about that human interaction and really having that mentor, that guide, that sage that help guide you through the political landmines, the roadblocks that navigate the organization complexities as you lead and direct your project. Well, great. Hopefully you enjoyed that session of John the PM. If you like it, please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. That helps us to be a service back to you on those areas, and may all of your projects be successful.